Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and a special episode of Did You Know, where today we're taking a look at some of the best entries in this year's series with 20 things you might not know in WWE 2K23. Did you know there's an alternate corner version of the Cody Cutter? This year in WWE 2K23, the developers have added a new finisher position that allows players to use in-ring springboard moves as signatures and finishes, with Cody Rhodes being one of the stars to utilise this update, as Cody's signature Cody Cutter can be performed from this position. Something you might not know though is that the developers have also included a second version of the Cody Cutter that can be performed as a corner springboard, though this version of the move isn't assigned to Cody by default. Instead, you'll have to edit Cody's moveset in Create a Moveset and assign the move under the Springboard category, where you'll find it listed under Corner Springboards. Once assigned, the move can be performed in-game by moving towards the corner and pressing L1 then square on PlayStation, or LB and then X on Xbox. Did you know that the Race to NXT DLC pack includes a new type of combo move? This one was something that was teased a couple of weeks back during an interview with WWE Games associate gameplay producer Brian Williams, as Brian teased that the Race to NXT pack would include a new type of move which has never been done before. The move in question is Tony D'Angelo's Northern Lights Suplex Neckbreaker combo, as this move is unique in that it includes what is essentially a quick time event similar to a comeback, as the move sees a button prompt appear after the Northern Lights Suplex, which if you press it correctly will then see the move followed up with a neckbreaker. Should you press the wrong button, or not press any button at all, then this will see the combo end after the Northern Lights Suplex, essentially giving you the option of performing one move or going for two. Did you know you can perform additional car moves when using the heavy attack button? Back in the first episode of Did You Know, we covered some of the updates to the Backstage area that seen the developers add a giant spotlight which you can throw your opponent into, as well as new updates to the cars in the parking lot that allow you to interact with them using drags. Following that episode, Jay Nitro, Denise W and Liu Billy revealed that there's also some additional attacks that can be performed, as when dragging your opponent over the car, rather than press the button shown on screen, players can also press the heavy attack button to trigger alternate moves.
Through the car window, enough is enough!
This is ugly.
Oh, right into the car window, and finally, mercilessly, this is over.
Thank goodness.
After throwing your opponent into the windscreen, you can also perform a second light attack using the hood of the car, as dragging your opponent to the hood and pressing the light attack button will see an alternate animation where you slam the hood on their head. These moves also come complete with their own reversal animations, as should you time the reversal as the button is pressed, this will see you counter your opponent and perform the move on them. Along with these alternate moves, you can also perform several carry moves that throw your opponent against the car by pressing the light attack button, one of which includes an alternate way to put your opponent through the window when carrying them over your shoulder.
Right through the car window!
Everything in the parking lot can be used as a weapon. It's about the most unforgiving environment you can imagine.
Did you know that the referee will perform a slow count after taking damage? This one was first suggested by Mr. Creepy Boss, who points out one of several new updates to the referees, as this year the developers have added a new slow count feature that sees referees count slower after taking damage. To show this off, here's some footage of a regular count followed by a slow count when the referee is hurt.
That keeps Cena down.
Penny predicament, shoulders down. It's over, all in a night's work, and he goes for the pin. An emphatic victory.
Comparing the footage, the regular count lasts exactly 3 seconds, while the slow count lasts more than double that at 7.5 seconds. Did you know that Becky Lynch's missing attire parts can be selected in Create a Superstar? When Becky Lynch was first revealed for WWE 2K23, a lot of people pointed out that her entrance attire was missing the futuristic visor that she wore with that outfit, as Becky's attire is based on appearance at last year's Hell in a Cell, where she entered wearing this custom visor. Despite being missing from Becky's entrance, something you might not know is that the visor is actually included in the game, as Revolution notes that it can be selected in Create a Superstar, where you'll find it listed under caps.
A woman who has devoted her career to elevating the women's division.
Arguably the hardest working competitor in the women's division.
And she's also a leader, and she's a trailblazer.
Given that Becky's render on the selection screen actually shows her wearing the visor, chances are that it was left out by mistake, as at the end of Becky's entrance you can actually see her motion to remove it, so hopefully it's something that gets fixed in a future patch. Did you know there's a hidden championship entrance for Mandy Rose? This one comes from WWE Games modder What's the Status, who's revealed the inclusion of a hidden championship entrance for former NXT champion Mandy Rose. This hidden entrance is very similar to Mandy's regular entrance, which is still available for selection in the Creation Suite, though once Mandy enters the ring, the championship entrance sees her remove the belt from her waist and then go on to display it. If you want to get your hands on this hidden entrance, then you can download this awesome looking Mandy from Community Creations by searching for the hashtag MandyHidden, as Status has teamed up with creator Antronexy and assigned this creation Mandy's hidden entrance. Also assigned are Mandy's leftover crowd signs, as the creation comes pre-assigned with these hidden designs, which you can now preview ahead of downloading, as updates to Community Creations now allow you to preview a creation's crowd signs, render photo, moveset and attributes. Did you know that factions will now work together in the Royal Rumble? One of the big updates to this year's gameplay sees an update to how factions and tag teams work when involved in multi-man matches like the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. As part of this update, should you find yourself squaring off with other team members in the likes of the Royal Rumble match, rather than attack each other as they have in past games, this year the AI will recognise its teammates and then avoid attacking them until there's no one else remaining. To show how this works in terms of the Royal Rumble match, if I speed up this footage to show you all members of the Bloodline entering the match, then you'll see that upon entering, rather than attack a fellow team member, they'll instead spend the time taunting, with each member circling the ring and climbing the turnbuckle to play to the crowd as they wait for an opponent. Once an opponent enters the ring that isn't part of the team, all of the members will turn their focus on that one individual and then team up to eliminate them. Although the AI will ignore its fellow teammates and spend the time taunting, should you decide to attack a fellow teammate, then the member that you attacked will now see you as an enemy and begin attacking you in return. For those wondering what happens when there's only faction members left, as soon as the last remaining outsider is eliminated, then this will see the team turn on each other as they all attempt to win the match for themselves.
It was a hell of a maneuver there, guys.
Did you know that 2K have hidden a familiar superstar behind the Uncle Howdy mask? With the reveal of the Revel with Wyatt DLC, many players were asking the question of who can be found under the Uncle Howdy mask, and it didn't take long for the community to get an answer on this, as WWE Games modder What's the Status was able to edit Uncle Howdy and upload a modded version of the character without the mask. To show off how he looks without the mask, here's how he appears during his victory scene.
Here is your winner, Uncle Howdy!
That win took everything they had.
And then some.
We call a lot of matches, but this one's going to stick in my mind for weeks to come.
I agree with you on that, Corey. This one was unforgettable.
To get a better look at the face, if we load this version of Uncle Howdy into the Creation Suite, then it appears that the person behind the mask is none other than The Miz, as developers appear to have used The Miz's model as a base when creating Uncle Howdy. Did you know there's a hidden Titantron for The Rock 98? This hidden Titantron can be assigned by selecting the template for the Rock $500 shirt, as this template includes a hidden Tron for the Rock 98. After assigning the template, you're free to change any of the other entrance options as long as you don't change the Titantron, and it'll then appear in the entrance when you save. Did you know it's possible to win a War Games match by forcing your opponent to leave the cage? When playing a War Games match, the match rules note that the match can be won by pin or submission, and that exiting the cage will result in a forfeit. While it's not possible to exit the cage and forfeit the match intentionally, should you select the custom match rules option when setting up War Games, you'll notice that the win conditions include an option to win the match by forcing your opponent to leave the cage. To give an example of how this works, once all members of both teams have entered the match and War Games has officially begun, you'll first need to make sure that you have at least one stored finisher, then you'll need to climb the cage on the left hand side and wait for your opponent to follow. Once they do and both players are sat on top of the cage, repeatedly press the strike button to attack your opponent until they appear groggy, then when prompted, press the finisher buttons and you'll be able to throw them off the cage to the outside.
That's it, calling it by knockout.
The finisher option only appears once all participants are in the match, as trying to do this before everyone has entered will only allow you to use the regular cage throw that sees you throw your opponent off the cage and into the ring. However, once everyone has entered the match, the finisher option will then become available. Did you know there's special audio in MyGM when drafting former WCW stars back to WCW? This one comes from Sean Wynn, who points out some special audio for MyGM. Should you set up a show and choose to run WCW, then during the initial draft, you can hear special reaction audio when drafting former WCW stars back to WCW.
WCW chooses Hollywood Hogan.
And Hollywood is once again taking over WCW.
WCW selects Kevin Nash.
And Nash says, look at the adjective, WCW.
WCW picks Scott Hall.
Survey time is back as Scott Hall joins WCW.
WCW chooses Stacy Keibler.
Stacy Keibler heading back to WCW.
WCW chooses Steve Austin.
They fired him and now WCW has brought back Steve Austin.
WCW picks Booker T.
Booker T looking to become a six-time WCW champion.
WCW drafts Goldberg.
And Goldberg says, WCW, you're next again.
Adding to this, something else you might not know is that developers have also included special reactions when drafting certain WWE legends, as the announcers will react with shock when they're drafted to WCW.
WCW drafts The Undertaker.
Undertaker in WCW? What's next? The Dead Rising?
WCW picks Mr. McMahon.
Unbelievable! Mr. McMahon is joining the WCW roster.
WCW drafts Shane McMahon.
And the name on the WCW contract says Shane McMahon.
WCW selects Shawn Michaels.
The impossible has happened. HBK in WCW.
Did you know there's a hidden tag team victory motion for the Creed brothers? This one comes from WWE Games modder Quirtiac, who reveals the inclusion of a hidden tag team victory motion for the Creed brothers, as despite the pair not having a victory motion in Create a Victory, Quirtiac reveals that their victory motion is actually in the game, it's just currently hidden and not available for selection.
An emphatic victory for your winners. An impressive effort from this duo.
That was a great example of what a tag team can do when it's firing on all cylinders.
Despite the motion not being available for selection, the footage of the motion appears to show it as being complete, therefore there's a good chance that we could see it patched into the game in a future update, similar to how 2K patched in the damage control motions with patch 1.08. Did you know that Reggie has a unique reversal and dodge animation? This one comes from Expert Games, Zerx and Still KC, who note some unique reversal animations for Reggie, as should reverse certain running strikes like the clothesline, and this will see Reggie perform a unique reversal animation that sees him skillfully evade the oncoming attack. Along with these reversal animations, Reggie also has his own special dodge moves, as should use the dodge counter to evade a strike, and this will see Reggie perform a spinning flip to avoid it. Depending on the direction you hold when performing the dodge, Reggie has two different animations he can perform, one that sees him flip left or right, and another one that sees him use a backflip when holding the thumbstick away from his opponent. Did you know you can unlock the Performance Center as a playable arena? When loading up WWE 2K23 for the very first time, players will be offered the chance to play through the game's tutorial, which takes place in the WWE Performance Center as Xavier Woods guides players through the basic controls. As the controls tutorial is quite basic, most returning players opt to skip the tutorial when asked. However, this year there's a good reason to play it, as completing the tutorial will secretly unlock the WWE Performance Center as a playable arena. If you've already turned down the chance to play the tutorial, don't worry, as you can select to play through it from the main menu by switching to the Options tab and choosing Tutorial. Once selected, in order to unlock the Performance Center, you'll first have to complete the basic training section, which goes over all of the game's basic controls. Completing this portion of the tutorial will also give you a bonus reward, as you receive a locker code for a special Xavier Woods manager card in MyFaction. After accepting the reward, you're taken to a special challenge match where you'll go up against John Cena at WrestleMania, which you'll need to win to complete the tutorial. Once you've defeated Cena, this will complete the tutorial, and while there's no reward screen for the Performance Center, should you take a look at the available arena options in Exhibition, then you should find that the Performance Center is now unlocked as a playable arena. When selecting to use the Performance Center in Exhibition, you'll be loaded straight into the match, as the arena doesn't support entrance or victory scenes due to it being a smaller arena without a proper ramp. While the arena is limited to the main ring, one cool feature that you can try is pausing the game and then using the highlight reel's free cam option to explore the arena, as this allows you to go anywhere, including the gym area, which is set up behind the glass, as this area sees all the different gym equipment set up and ready to use. Did you know you can set up carry moves from a grounded position using a roll through? This one is a really cool trick that was suggested by nmoney7263, as rather than picking up your opponent the regular way and then lifting them into the carry position, there's actually a way that you can perform a roll through lift that allows you to pick up your opponent into the carry position in one single motion, where you're then free to walk around or use your finisher. This trick works by assigning Ronda Rousey's grounded version of Piper's Pit as a ground grapple, as the move sees the player perform a roll through to lift their opponent onto their shoulders before then going on to perform the move. As this move is a carry move, when performing it, you can actually cancel the move by pressing R1 on PlayStation or RB on Xbox, which in doing so will see you hold your opponent in the carry position, effectively turning the move into a roll through transition that you can then use to perform other moves. To set this up, all you need to do is edit the moveset of the superstar that you want to use it with and change their lower ground grapple to Piper's Pit. Now, when you're in a match, you can grapple your opponent at their feet and press X on PlayStation or A on Xbox, then as the move begins, press R1 or RB to cancel the move, which will then leave you in the carry position, where you're then free to walk around, perform an environmental move, or if you have one stored, you can even perform a finisher.
Kurt's in serious danger.
Did you know that Max Dupri is an exclusive manager in MyFaction? This one was suggested by John Dover, who points out an exclusive manager who's only available in MyFaction, as should you head into the mode and check out the manager cards listed on the My Collection screen, then you'll notice the addition of LA Knight's previous persona, Max Dupri. This persona was part of the short-lived gimmick used to introduce the maximum male models, as Knight was renamed Max Dupri following his move to SmackDown. In total, the manager collection contains 6 cards for Max, with these cards ranging from bronze to ruby, with certain cards featuring alternate renders. Did you know you can download a playable version of B-Fab? This one comes via What's the Status, who alongside uploading playable versions of Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, has also managed to upload a playable version of B-Fab. This playable version comes complete with hidden commentary for B-Fab, as despite not being playable in the base game, the developers have included unique commentary for her which can be triggered during matches.
We'll start things off with B-Fab, really someone who has all the tools and confidence to become a major player here in WWE.
You look at pure athletes like Trish Stratus and Chyna. They took what they had and molded it into a new environment. B-Fab is very much in that same school.
To get your hands on this playable version of B-Fab, you can find it on Community Creations by searching for the hashtag BFabPlay, with this one uploaded by What's the Status hashtag 32498. Did you know that Harley Race has a special opponent taunt which includes its own reversal? This one was suggested by a few people, including Sky X Wolf, Amethyst Majesty, and Sean the Sad 54, as they all pointed out a special opponent taunt for Harley Race, as should you hold the right trigger and press right on the D-pad, and this will see Harley perform the Harley Race 4 taunt, which sees him drop to his knees and begin pleading with his opponent. On the surface, this taunt appears to be the same as any other taunt, however the difference comes when an opponent interrupts the move with a grapple, as this will lead to this special possum attack.
He's trying to intimidate his opponent one more time, but he's got to strike soon.
Also included with the taunt, we have its own reversal animation, as prior to the headbutt, players have a short reversal window, which when timed correctly will see you counter the move and take down your opponent with several strikes. On the subject of DX, did you know that the DX theme has been added to create an entrance? This one comes from Jay Strongwater, Showtime and Evan Jenkins, who all note the addition of the DX theme as part of the recent patch update, as the patch added in a new entrance template for Shawn Michaels 97. When selecting this template, you'll find that it includes a hidden theme which is titled Shawn Michaels 97, which when you preview it is actually the DX theme. Thanks to the addition of this theme, players can now assign the DX music to superstars manually, though sadly there's still no way to assign it to tag teams. Did you know there's an alternate ending in Showcase mode if John Cena defeats Rob Van Dam? This year's 2K Showcase includes a twist that sees players taking on the role of John Cena's opponents, as all the matches featured in the showcase are matches that Cena lost. Because of this twist, the first match in the showcase sees players playing as RVD, with the aim being to defeat Cena and complete all of the historical objectives. Should things go wrong though, and you actually lose the match to Cena, then this will lead to an alternate ending.
Here is your winner, and still the WWE Champion, John Cena!
So there you go, that was some of the best Did You Knows in WWE 2K23. Let me know what you made of them in the comments, and if you come across anything you think I should feature in a future episode, then please do let me know about it. Until next time though, thank you so much for watching, have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.